story of how a seed grant gave rise to Campus Arts Initiative, who paired an artist team with a material science innovation team to create an art installation that impacted and engaged a community.
I'm Jonathan Rockford.
I'm Mike Hadley.
And we are
Encoded
Objects. Yeah.
So it's an art collective that we started up in 2017 after meeting in graduate school.
Yeah, and we've been kind of exploring our relationship to the built and natural environments through the lens of technology.
So the piece is called Macroscope, and we were really inspired by a lot of the ways in which what MRI does is take something and look at it at a different spatial or temporal scale. I guess to describe the piece for context, it is a piece of software that is watching a live camera feed of the garden space behind us. And as it is getting imagery from that feed, it is growing this 2D material behind us. So it accumulates these hexagonal pieces of imagery over time, slowly, until we've got this full crystal behind us. It draws a lot of inspiration from graphene and looking at some videos of how graphene grows and dissolves.
Yeah, and I think we're also inspired by MRI's sense of history and the way they celebrate their history, and the fact that this is a one-year piece. This is kind of a living and growing piece, so not only is it representing what's happening outside at the moment, it's building up a catalog of images, and so as the year progresses, it'll be sampling from components of those images, spaces from those images, and weaving them into the real-time feed that we see behind us. So in a way, we're generating a history of this year of what's happening now, and we, like the idea of situating this like right outside the front, where the scientists and students are coming into the facility to do their work, but this is also where they pass back out into the community, and it seems to be right on that barrier. And I really like the idea of it being on the windows too, the history with glass, and thinking about the kind of metaphors that can evoke as well. So we decided to think about the whole building as a sensor pointed outward and have it looking and monitoring from the exterior in a way. And that's where the notion of the macroscope comes from. And actually here at MRI, a lot of the work is inward facing. When you walk into the building, the labs are kind of in the interior and the corridors on the exterior. They're working on often a very tiny scale in terms of perceptibility. So even though this is subtle, and I think that might be one of the drawbacks of a projection, is this sort of familiar material and format that might look effortless, and that here it is. What went into that? Arriving to this idea took an enormous amount of work, but then the development that went into this to make it hopefully look effortless is actually pretty significant. I don't even know if you counted how many lines of code, but
yeah,
it's
a lot.
It's a lot, and but it's exciting. So I hope that people will recognize that this is a little bit out of the ordinary. It's not just standard video, and that might bring some questions about this sort of intersection of art, history, and science.